Aloha. I want to first apologize if there's noise in the background. I know they're doing yard work and stuff, so you're aware of that. I wanted to do this video in relation to relationships, the separation program, transhumanism, its relation to flat earth and that separation program, and the whole design of how we are being manipulated psychologically, physically, spiritually, from every angle, and kind of just related to us perceiving our reality and how we perceive who we are and everything, and kind of keep it focused on some of the different versions that are out there. I don't really know. I just kind of like, when I put these videos together, I'm just kind of like talking about a whole bunch of different things that are fitting together in one storyline, how I see it. But this video, in a sense, started in my head when I was thinking about relationships, and I was thinking about how like what is a conscious relationship and what is just like an old relationship. So I haven't been involved in what I would consider a conscious relationship on that level, because I'm still on that journey to where I'm having that relationship with myself to find out like what conscious is for myself, and then for me to be open to that space with my balance with like a woman who is going to be on her journey along with me, and then we'll be on that same journey is still ongoing. So I related that to the relationships I've had in the past, and then really just asked myself, how does that relate to like the angel story, and how angels are the separation that happened from light and dark, or and specifically relating to angels, like the angels who protect that which is good, and the angels who amplify that which is separating individuals and energies from their creative source, which is the design of the globe model, and stuff like transhumanism and technology and all this stuff, and how we've amplified this space individually and shared it on generations, selling a story that is based upon separation, and it's gone down to the very the makeup of our bodies, to where we're taking in genetically modified foods, fluoridated water, stuff that is filled with hormones, stuff that is filled with antibiotics. It's affecting our psyche. It's affecting the control grid as a whole. It's amplifying the control grid. When we see women and men flip-flopping their gender roles, and seeing that being engaged in the political system, there's a meaning there. There's a reason why all this stuff is out there in your face as important in relation to everything else. There's a definite program, a psychological program that happens when the black guy always dies first in movies. there's a very definite program that has an intent behind dressing up black men in dresses and having that be like a thing. There's a very definite program to the skinny jeans and all this stuff. There's a program to how you dress, how you act, how you think, how you interact. It's not just a trend or a thing. This goes straight into the control of people as a whole. And there's a very definite emasculation program that is going on within the system. And the definition here is to make a person, idea, a piece of legislation weaker or less effective. Now this is happening to the male side in hormonal meats, hormones in your meat, hormones in your food, genetically modified foods, hormones, psychological hormones in your movies, in your TV shows, in your idols, your people you look up to, in the school system as a whole. This program is designed to weaken the individual so they will be easily manipulated to buy into a system that is outside of the natural stasis, a system that is designed to channel you into a separation program even further. This has already been done to the divine feminine when you factor in sexism and the patriarchal program as a whole. This program is very alive and well, and has been running consistently for centuries upon centuries. And now, since the next gear is being pulled in and amplified, this is why you have this storyline right here is equivalent to people growing up in the inner cities and having fathers who are, running the streets and not. This is how they break up the family. This is another way of breaking up the family. It's just like this is the break up the individual, the power, the strength of the black male, and you can see that as relating to black families being broken apart and single mothers. That whole thing. It's the same exact thing. Drugs, the gang mentality, the perpetration of that separation through the supremacy program as a whole, and how it leaks into the education system, the public education system, what that does, having your leaders and your superheroes look nothing like you, act like nothing like you, actually look down upon you and want you to fail on a subconscious level, if not on a conscious level. And this is very active in the community, and a lot of people don't know about it because it's not meant to be known about. It's meant to be separated so you don't see this stuff and don't put these pieces together. But this goes down into the very relationships that we have. So the relationship that we have with our source is separated with ideas of the God-fearing religions that are out there, which are now being amplified or getting ready to be pumped up into this love and light, God-loving perspective, instead of understanding all the systems that have been working against us as a whole, and our true connection to that creative space and this flat plane that has been designed for us to learn the balances of nature. See, this is a thing that is at the heart of this whole program, this is a design that goes against nature. So when you're talking about transhumanism and technology and the microchip and all that stuff, that shit is unnatural. It's inorganic. We're talking about synthetic artificial realities, artificial programs. The Google mind is all a design to get you to think a certain way. It's a design to get you to act a certain way. So when you have people like Madonna saying straight men need to be emasculated, I'm sorry, they all need to be slapped around. Women have been kept down for too long. Every straight guy should have a man's tongue in his mouth at least once. When you have these idols out here that are saying shit like this, getting people to think like this, she's getting an entire women who look up to this person, men who have been filled with all these hormones throughout their entire lives and filled with all these antibiotics and sick and diseased products their entire lives, filled with all these psychological programs through Hollywood. Seeing this lady, hear this lady, she's just saying what the program is designed to pump out there. She's just, these are just words to say it. So seeing this as a design as a whole, the emasculation program as a whole is really just a separation program. So if you go back to where I was saying in the beginning, creating energetic like teams of separation. So understanding the flat earth, understanding your connection, your synchronicity through like stuff like the Mandela effect, and understanding your memory, your connection with each other. That is a natural space. Understanding the harmonics of the sun and the moon and the plants, the trees, the connection to the air, the water, the elements of nature is the stuff that we're reconnecting to. Now these stories of the unnatural, but is normal in this broken society, in this broken system. These ideas these frames of thought. She's talking about an abnormal, out of balance thing. And this is a prescription drug. Every guy should have a man's tongue. And that's a prescription drug, a fucked up prescription drug to balance out an imbalanced program, which is a deeper imbalance when you see the design of it all. Because this shit is not an accident. She's saying this quote as if it is an accident. But that is the double layer of focus, separation focus that they want you to focus on with stuff like the whole LGBT stuff that's being pumped out by the politics and this whole bathroom talk. All that shit is a prescription drug to adjust energies within an abnormal society to make the abnormal normal in an abnormal society. They're never talking about what is natural. And what is natural is the balances inherent within the divine feminine and the divine masculine. The natural connections and balance and harmonics with your connection to your source. Your conscious connections as a whole. This whole design, these programs, they all exist inside of these boxes. The boxes that have been planned and have been manipulated from every angle that you can think of, down to the very natures of how you understand who and what you are. Are you a man? Are you a woman? Are you this? Are you that? They give you all these different options within an abnormal society to say this is who and what you are. And when you see that we have been manipulated, hormonally. If anything, if you see that, now I'm not saying like, I'm not saying that one way or the other, anything. I'm just specifically speaking about what is natural and what is normal. Hormones in your body, extra hormones in your body that would never have been there if not for this fucked up control grid, this self-destructive, physically destructive, source separating, ridiculous idea of normality. This program, if those hormones weren't in there, you wouldn't have a lot of people acting the way they act. You wouldn't have a lot of people doing a lot of things that they do, because we are built up of a balance of different types of chemicals and frequencies as a whole. These hormones, they mess with your frequencies. So if you've been raised, if you are a male and you've been raised on female hormones because you've been drinking this milk since day one, you graduate high school and now all of a sudden you're trying to figure out what kind of relationship you want to be in, and you can't figure out whether or not you are a man or a woman or are attracted to a man or a woman, and you want to separate you, and you haven't thought about the fact that you've been pumped by hormones. You're actually largely not who you think you are, because who you think you are has been manipulated by companies like Monsanto, companies like the meat industry as a whole. You can see that from the overweight problem that's in the United States and all over the world, really. That is a separation program from your balance, your natural health balance. All this is to lock people into this death program, this separation program, and every angle is covered, down to the very relationships that we have with ourselves, the relationship that we have with our Most High, the relationships that we have with other people, the relationships that we have with our children. We are raising our children to be normal, wearing these skinny jeans, to wear these be whatever you want to, like, be whatever you want to be based upon what the mainstream has told you to want to be. Like, that is normal in an abnormal society. It is not for you. It is for the control grid of the emasculation program that needs to maintain control. It needs to maintain these illusions so they maintain a power grid over you. So if they can control you with hormones and meat and all this other shit, Hollywood, it's not as clear cut, it's not as cut and dry as just like Hollywood getting in politics and all this stuff. It's way deeper than Rosario Dawson linking up with Bernie Sanders and Bernie Sanders even being out there at all. No, fuck that stuff. If we focus for a moment to see how we've been separated from our very nature, then we can see the bigger programs that are out there. We're focusing. This is all the egoic program. This is all the physical reality, the lower chakra amplification program that makes us use our creative energies for an artificial grid, an artificial program. We are, in a sense, using we rationalize. This is a rationalization of a broken system to create an outcome that seems better, but is actually worse because it's a compensation within a broken program. This is a very much a design. When they make people, when the industries make people make music that says a certain thing, that will put out a certain atmosphere, when they make The industry makes these actors do this stuff. They are making your kids, the populace, the mainstream populace, do a certain thing. When the meat industry makes them, when they put these antibiotics in there that break down your immune system and install sickness and disease into your system, they are making weakness. They are making weakness as a whole. And then we end up rationalizing that, for example, like in a relationship purpose, like when I was last speaking to a woman that, you know, I was thinking about being in a conscious relationship with, and then she was saying like, oh, well, I'm like this, and I'm like, you know, that's just how I am, like based upon like horoscopes or whatever kind of shallow ass fucking idea is out there. So like, oh, that's just who I am, you know, like, no. The ego is not a fucking patsy. The ego is your paintbrush, your conscious paintbrush that you grow and expand with. See, we rationalize these normalities, these artificial synthetic things that we've downloaded as who and what we are. And then since we've gathered all our friends and families around us to say that, you know, this is who I am and what I am, we can't let that shit go, because we'll lose friends, or we'll lose this and we'll lose that. We think ultimately we'll lose track and a grasp on who and what we are, because we don't want to challenge what we've built up for our entire lives. So say, oh yeah, well I'm just like that. Like, what? Who the fuck told you that? Like, who told you that you're like that? Who made you think like that? You are rationalizing weakness. You are rationalizing a fucking disease that is just ridiculous. You're using that as a crutch instead of something that you can learn from and expand upon. But people go through their different layers and their different journeys at different times, their different ways. So people learn like that. And these programs have benefited off of that style and have manipulated this grid as a whole to create sheep in order to profit off of their wool and profit off of their meat and profit off of their energy as a whole. And we have been manipulated to focus on the lower chakra space as the maximum potential of who we are and our connection to nature as a whole. This is why Hollywood exists with all this, whether all that Disney shit's got all that, those sexual programs, the princess programs, the egomaniacal fucking completely out of balance males that are in there, the that whole fucking supremacy program as a whole. That whole thing is a design. It's a program, and we just think it's fucking normal because it's repeated. It's patterns. These flicker rates every day we wake up. We see another movie that's saying the same story as before. We see another person who acts like somebody else. We see another teacher or professor who is telling us something from this perspective, and that shit is normal. Like, no, there's a difference between normal. Like, it's not normal to have a planet full of male energies. You won't reproduce. It's not normal to have, at the true essence of normal, it's not normal to have a full planet full of female energy. You won't reproduce. What's natural is to have a harmonics, a balance, a true balance of the feminine and the masculine that is by design by our Most High. That will balance out the linear and the circular patterns that we exist as. This shit right here, this hormonal imbalance reality we call normal, is not is not in a connection with the Most High. It's not a connection with ourselves. And this abnormal reality is amplified in your face every day, and you are in this hopeless state of being if you still believe in the mainstream this and that and all this, and following all these people and listening to all these fucking politicians and celebrities and all these fake ass new age. Even the new age community is based upon rationalizing and jumping off the platform, the foundation of an abnormal reality, in order to sell in a new control grid. All these, like, let's just move on, all this stuff, that whole mentality as a whole is a design to keep people in this this program of separation. And it's not as simple as we think, like just emasculating black men and people like that, and taking the families apart and putting drugs in the community. It's not as simple as that. It goes all the way up to your connection to your creator. It goes to the connection to your Most High. They're creating energy portals, because this is, when you're talking about the depths of this, we're talking about these energies that have separated themselves from their source to where they have no desire to go back. And in order to stay in that God space that they've created in this, the artificial God space that they've created in this separation program, they need people to believe that they are separate themselves, to pay their energy into that separation program. That's what the whole fucking mainstream program is based upon. This is why you are kept in the lower chakras. The feminine energy is a portal. Like, her body is a divine, sacred portal of life, and we are treating it. It is being treated as if it's just you know, the normal part of that is just titties and ass. You know, get you a good woman with some big hips, some good, nice, a pretty face, and, you know, titties and ass. That's what this whole program is based upon. So, and they play these it's all over social media, it's all through Hollywood, it's all over everywhere you go. It's amplified, and they're playing what is natural, the natural attractors of our physical design. They amplify it, and that's just a psychological way of playing with frequencies, like the hormones in milk that makes people, makes men act like women when they get out there and be on their own. And you gotta see, like, the fact that this exists at all, the fact that this is out there at all, really makes you challenge and understand, like, who and what you are. There's a destructive program that is out there that is not normal. It's so far from normal, and it's not even in the realms of even being close to natural. So when you hear about all this bathroom talk, you hear Madonna saying some shit like that quote over there, you see all these men dressing up as women in dresses, and you see Jenner, Bruce Jenner, or what, Caitlyn Jenner, is that whole, on every magazine. What kids are seeing magazines. You see magazines in grocery stores. Those are designed right next to the candy. Like, so you see all these kids are being subliminally programmed on a regular basis. Everywhere they look, they're seeing candy and Bruce Jenner or Caitlyn Jenner, like right there. Like, this whole thing TV shows, movies, commercials, all in the background. This gets us thinking and acting a certain way. And it's all a big emasculation program, because this is already a patriarchal system. That is the first separation, is to separate the male from the female. And the easiest way was to play that role of the man up and play the role of the woman down, and beat the woman down until she's submissive, and then she will be part of that submissive role. And then now you just have to beat the man down and turn him into a woman, so you can beat that whole, you can control the whole grid as a whole. So this is what the emasculation program is. So it's and bringing up the women now in this whole feminine empowerment movement is within a patriarchal system, is like it's like a prescription drug within that abnormal reality as a whole. At the same time, it's like it's another prescription. It's just another prescription. It's not a balancing out of the natural spaces. And it also helps with the emasculation of the men and the masculinization of the women, which is another a deeper separation. Now you're turning women into men, into thinking and acting like men, which is the same program of the emasculating of the man to make him think and act more like a woman. This is all about power. This is about energy, about control. It has nothing to do with your ego and who and what you think you are and all this other stuff. When you see that this stuff exists in your milk, that this stuff exists in your meat, you are well within a program. So even people who are on the borderline are talking about, you know, going vegan or vegetarian or all this stuff. This alone is a reason to stop, you know, eating meat and stop eating drinking the milks and all that hormone stuff and all that genetically modified stuff, the fluoride in your water. All of it is designed to separate you from your maximum vibration. If you're observing yourself as pure energy, as pure frequency, pure vibration, you can see television is designed like that. The meat industry is designed like that. Cigarettes, alcohol, legalization of all that stuff, cannabis being criminalized, mushrooms being criminalized, all the mind expanding stuff is being that brings people together, brings you closer to understanding your source. All of that is criminalized. That which is natural is criminalized. That which is normal is amplified as good and part of your reality. And this is how we create who we think we are, because we think we are. It's easy to think you're something in a broken society because everybody else is comfortable with that. So you start to think you are broken and rationalize being broken. And these hormones and all this other stuff makes it easier for you to buy into these political ideas, to these globe model ideas, to these ways of not trusting your own memory within the Mandela effect, to your ways of trusting even more in the transhumanist agendas and the stuff that is right underneath our noses, with how we are separated from our source with the science community and the university system that tells us, you know, you came from a Big Bang theory, you came from a monkey evolution theory, you came from a globe model theory, and that's it. And you ain't got nothing else to say about that. That none of this shit has ever been proven. All that NASA shit, all that, if you are completely out of balance with your hormones, with your psychological state, with understanding yourself, not understanding your relationships, who you are as a man, who you are as a woman, who you are as a balance of nature with your connection to the Most High. If you don't know any of that shit, then You are a prime candidate for being herded into a cage, into a box, a battery in a box, so you can be manipulated to do whatever the fuck it is that they got in line for you to do next. This is why all this shit is in this so-called normal society. This is why they're talking about all this bathroom shit, making it your focus, making all this LGBT stuff your focus, making it all very real for you, to make you focus on level 12 when they've been fucking up and destroying level 1 through 11 and 12 consistently since you've been a kid. So the next step, this is all prime. Everything I was just talking about is just a prime for the separation program of the inorganic program that is the transhumanism movement, that is being prepped for you to believe in this shit with CERN and all these scientists getting together saying, yeah, we've been working on this for 50 years. We're all the leading scientists. And it's like that ancient astronaut theory. Ancient astronaut theorists think that this is they think all this shit up. They just build up their egos for you to believe that their egos are the almighty. Like, that's it. Like, they are the almighty ones. They know this, they know that. And you believe it because you have the brain of a hormonal monkey, a hormonal 3-year-old monkey that is just, subject to the normalcies of a broken society. So it's like, oh yeah, well, just give these little abnormal monkeys a smartphone, and they'll be smart. Like, oh yeah, we got a smartphone. We're smart now. We have access to anything. And it's all through this technological thing, which separates you from your access to your conscious capabilities through the collective conscious, your individual brain, your heart brain, your stomach brain. Your balances as a whole are manipulated and channeled into this separation control grid we call technology in the university system. And they're amping it up to kick it into gear to get more control. And I just saw this video yesterday. It was on a recommended video. I think, yeah, it was on a recommended video. Because if it was on trending, I'm sure I would have did a video. I would have flipped out. But even the reason why I watched it, because it was recommended. But this video right on the top, I'm not going to click on it because I wanted to talk about the third video down too. But the one on the top was Spark Fun Electronics. Was just a guy. You could see him inserting an RFID chip into his hand so he can access whatever. And he's got one, and that's him sticking it in his left hand because he's already got one in his right hand. And the only thing he does is like it tells you they focus on the science of it all, and like play this fancy music or like upbeat music and give you these funny little like these little like do 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 do. I'm just sticking a microchip in my hand. This is what the technology is. It's got a number on it. Like all this fucking shit that is just like a cartoon for you to be cool with. He's got all these tattoos and piercings all over him, so he's like this hip dude, and he can now open up his Dodge Ram without a key. He can just put his hand next to the window and unlock his truck. And then like, oh, that's cool, man. You did it. You're a fucking evolutionary like genius now. You made it. You can open up your fucking gas guzzling Dodge Ram with a microchip in your hand because you installed some stupid ass Yeah, it's ridiculous. But they are lighting this shit up, lightening this shit up. Just like they lighten you up with these hormones and the emasculation program, they lighten all this shit up with these movies from childhood. This is what the coding is in Big Hero 6 and this whole it's everywhere. It's lightening you up. It's just like the white supremacy program is built within Hollywood and cartoons as a whole. All these little kid videos that little babies are watching, those voices that they're listening to, listen to those voices. Listen to the way these kids are learning. Listen to the tone that they're learning from. Listen to that, because they will understand that tone, that style of learning. They will create that as their reality. That is the supremacy program being installed at the earliest of age, when you got a 2-year-old holding a smartphone listening to something that is supposed to be educational from a perspective, from a voice and a tone of a person that is not of their cultural background, that is of definitely from the same people that they love and trigger these. Look at all these individuals in here. It's 4 white people, 1 black guy, or 4 white people. It's always like this. This is a program. It keeps you in this power grid. Like I said in previous videos, we are not minorities. Black and brown melanated peoples all over the earth plane are not minorities, but you are comfortable with calling yourself a minority. That's a fucking problem. And the design is within these movies. And you can see Stan Lee's ass in here. This the Big Hero 6, all this shit, and all the other movies and Disney shit. Disney is with Marvel. Marvel and Disney is with Pixar. There's no difference there. They're all one thing. It's all one big psychological program. So the Marvel movies with this whole red and blue, Iron Team Cap and Team Iron Man and the Black Panther and DC Comics, all that shit that you think is for you, that shit is for you to fucking be part of a program, another psychological control grid. They got you locked down from your kid when you're watching Little Einsteins and fucking Blue's Clues and Mr. Rogers and all that other shit that has been, you know, to make you think a certain way, to listen to certain people, to act a certain way, to learn a certain way. And they get you at every angle, from your infant to a toddler to a teenager to an adult to on up. They got you at every angle, and it's getting amplified now. And the bigger angles that are getting more pumped out now, the more technical angles are shit like this smartphone stuff. And Joaquin Phoenix out here putting a movie up where he's falling in love with a fucking artificial program. Like, what does that do? Like, what is that? What is wrong with that individual? How empty do you have to be to do this? This goes into the whole like social media eHarmonyMatch.com shit. It makes everybody synthetic and artificial reality. It's like base your relationships, base your connections on it. That shit existing that way, it just takes synchronicity and natural interaction, natural meetings, natural spaces. It's a prescription drug within a broken society. People have to go on there and have some kind of connection, some kind of whatever, some kind of meeting potential, because they're working 24/7. People are working on a regular basis and have no time to even meet people, and even the people that they have around them they're not interested in them, because everybody's just as fucked up as the next person if you're working in the same environment, and you have to go out and find, and then you go out, everything is provided for you. This is what this whole thing is. It's everything you think of is provided for you by this artificial grid, by this synthetic reality. And you are programmed to buy into this transhumanistic agenda on a day-to-day basis with these movies and these kid movies, your food, your Hollywood celebrities, everything. So he falls in love with a software. So he's empty, and they're showing you it's all happy and all this other stuff. You can be like this person. And that's like the soft version of going into the transhumanism stuff. The other version of that is to have these actual sex robots that are installed with an artificial program that are coming out next. And I'm sure they're out already. But this is what Ex Machina is about. They get these actors and actresses out there to sell you an agenda with sex, just like they sell you celebrities and psychological programs with how you are attracted to them. So they sell you this transhumanistic agenda with how you've been programmed to be attracted to this type of individual. It's an ongoing process. And you're attacked from every angle, and we call it technology, we call it education, we call it innovation. Like the science community calls it innovation, the New Age community calls it an awakening. All this shit is orchestrated. It's orchestrated for you to fall into another separation program, and you will be bought and sold with trinkets and separation designs that are definitely not for you, for your kids, for your ancestors, for your connections to source at all. But best believe they will sell it to you as if it is. And it goes all the way to everything. Everything from the relationships I was talking about with your loved ones, to your relationship to yourself, to your relationship with your children, to your relationship with your future, your generations, to your past, your culture, everything. A lack of understanding, a lack of understanding, a lack of overstanding this whole situation, and be distracted by toys and garbage. Just buy into this new thing. And this is this is what I wanted to share, because it's a big deal out there. And that's pretty much it. So yeah, thanks for joining me. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks for joining me. Until next time, peace, love, and harmony.